Silence sharpens the blade before it ever meets the battlefield. Ascenders, today we're stepping into a territory most men fear to explore. The raw, silent, unstoppable force that a Sigma male becomes when he enters full warrior mode. This is not about hollow motivational fluff or temporary hype. This is about the quiet storm, the precision, the sacred discipline, and the cold fire that takes over when a Sigma decides to become unshakable and unstoppable in pursuit of his mission. You will see what happens when a Sigma no longer simply observes, but begins to reshape his destiny with relentless focus and unapologetic boundaries. This video is crafted to awaken that slumbering giant within you, the part of you tired of half measures, distractions, and excuses. We will uncover how to forge your mind, habits, and environment into a fortress of unyielding strength, and how to direct your energy with the precision of a warrior monk, moving through the world without seeking validation or permission. Stay until the end, because what I'm sharing will give you a roadmap for activating your highest form, the Sigma Ascends way. And Ascenders, if you find value here and want to keep receiving these raw, unfiltered transmissions that sharpen your Sigma edge, subscribe now so you never miss a call to your next level. Point 1. The Silent Forge. When a Sigma male enters full warrior mode, it is not marked by loud declarations, but by the silent and relentless forging of his inner architecture. This is the phase where he wakes before dawn, not for the aesthetic of morning routines, but because silence itself becomes a resource. In this sacred silence, he plans his next moves, breaks his goals into disciplined systems, and eliminates mental clutter that keeps average men stuck in cyclical distractions. Every part of his day is recalibrated to serve the mission, transforming mornings into sanctuaries of preparation, afternoons into war rooms of focused execution, and nights into reflective laboratories where lessons are distilled and strategy is adjusted. He becomes ruthless with himself, inspecting weaknesses and systematically turning them into strengths, one small victory at a time. He creates invisible structures, digital discipline where notifications are disabled, a clear environment where clutter is eliminated, and a mental state where complaining is replaced with action. There are no witnesses to these moments, no applause, and no audience. Yet it is in this hidden forge where a Sigma sharpens himself into a living weapon. Every meal is chosen with intention, every workout is a sacred ritual, and every hour is accounted for with the mindset that time is a non-renewable currency. When a Sigma goes into this mode, the outside world may see nothing, but internally entire empires are being constructed quietly with the precision of a craftsman whose life is his masterpiece. Point 2. Ruthless elimination. In full warrior mode, the Sigma male enters a season of ruthless elimination, a period where he examines every aspect of his environment, relationships, and habits with a cold, clear lens to determine what must stay and what must go. This is not fueled by bitterness or anger, but by sacred clarity. He knows that each distraction, each toxic relationship, and each energy-draining habit is a leak that will sabotage his mission. He looks at his phone and deletes every app that pulls him into mindless scrolling, unsubscribes from emails that clutter his mind, and clears out physical spaces that slow down his momentum. This is the season where he says no without guilt, understanding that every yes to distractions is a no to his purpose. Social obligations that drain him are let go without second thoughts, and shallow conversations are replaced with deep, intentional solitude. He stops explaining his boundaries because his energy is no longer available for those who do not respect his time. The Sigma in warrior mode will also audit his habits, replacing late nights of consumption with early mornings of creation, swapping junk information for books and resources that sharpen his mind, and eliminating gossip circles for silence that breeds clarity. This elimination is an act of spiritual hygiene, allowing him to operate in a purified environment that aligns with his mission. As he clears out the noise, his energy compounds, his focus sharpens, and his life becomes a vehicle for legacy building rather than temporary pleasure chasing. This is where he steps fully into his Sigma power, unbothered, unstoppable, and untouchable. Point 3. Controlled aggression. Controlled aggression is one of the defining traits of a Sigma male in full warrior mode. This is not the chaotic rage of the undisciplined, but the measured, precise fire of a man who knows exactly where he is going and what it will take to get there. For the Sigma, aggression is not about yelling or proving dominance to others. It is about the intensity with which he approaches his goals. Each workout is performed with an iron-willed commitment to excellence. Each business strategy is executed with unyielding precision, and each obstacle is met with a mentality of conquest rather than avoidance. When challenges arise, he does not collapse into victimhood or complaint. He uses them as fuel, transmuting frustration into creative energy and strategy. If a plan fails, he recalibrates without emotional drama, using setbacks as data rather than as evidence of defeat. His aggression is evident in his discipline, in the way he keeps his promises to himself, and in how he enforces his standards without needing to explain them to anyone. This controlled aggression is what enables the Sigma to remain consistent while others burn out, to take calculated risks while others hesitate, and to act decisively when others overthink. It is the edge that allows him to outperform, outlast, and outgrow his former self, while remaining grounded and unshaken. This aggression is not chaos, it is order, aligned with purpose and directed at goals that matter, making him a quiet storm in a world addicted to noise. Point 4. Zero external validation. When a Sigma male enters full warrior mode, he detaches completely from the need for external validation. This is not a phase where he brags about his grind or posts constant updates seeking likes or approval. It is a quiet return to self-authorship, where the Sigma reclaims the authority to define his worth. He stops checking how others perceive him, and instead begins measuring himself against his own evolving standards. This shift frees his mind from the exhausting weight of others' opinions, allowing him to take bolder actions without fear of judgment. In this mode, he moves silently, building, creating and transforming himself with an inner fire that needs no audience. His milestones are celebrated in solitude, his wins acknowledged with a nod, and his losses analyzed without self-pity. By detaching from praise and criticism, the Sigma becomes immune to emotional volatility, allowing him to remain stable while others are shaken by societal expectations. This freedom enables him to take creative risks, pursue ambitious goals, and live according to his mission, not the metrics of external applause. He realizes that every time he allows others to define his worth, he fragments his power. In warrior mode, he reclaims that power, focusing on the only validation that truly matters, the silent agreement between his actions and his mission. This detachment does not make him cold, but deeply centered, allowing him to move through the world with an unshakable presence. The Sigma in warrior mode understands that external validation is a leash, and by cutting it, he becomes unstoppable, building a life that is unbothered, unfiltered, and undeniably his own. Point 5. Strategic isolation. Strategic isolation is a sacred tool in the Sigma male's arsenal when he enters warrior mode. Unlike loneliness, which drains, this is chosen solitude that rejuvenates, clarifies, and recalibrates. The Sigma withdraws not to escape, but to build. In this phase, he intentionally distances himself from environments and individuals who dilute his energy, replacing noise with silence that sharpens his thinking. He limits social interactions that are not aligned with his mission, recognizing that not every conversation deserves his presence. During this isolation, he refines his goals, plans deeply, and executes with a focus that is impossible to maintain in a distracted environment. It is in this silence that he reads, trains, builds skills, and crafts the visions that will shape his future. Strategic isolation also allows him to reconnect with his intuition, away from the collective opinions that cloud judgment. He is not hiding from the world. He is preparing to re-enter it with clarity and strength. This is the time when the Sigma restructures his life systems, overhauls his routines, and eliminates inefficiencies. He may disappear from social media, reduce calls, and decline invitations, not out of rudeness, but out of commitment to himself. This phase often results in exponential growth because energy is no longer scattered but concentrated, enabling breakthroughs that can only occur in solitude. The Sigma's return from strategic isolation is marked by noticeable evolution, shocking those who assumed his silence was inactivity. In reality, every day in that isolation was a day of intense growth, preparation, and alignment, making the Sigma's comeback precise, powerful, and undeniable. Point 6. Spartan habits. When a Sigma male enters warrior mode, he engineers his environment and daily routines to enforce discipline automatically, adopting what can be called Spartan habits. This does not mean living a joyless life, but living a life free from unnecessary distractions and excess. The Sigma understands that willpower alone is insufficient for sustained progress, so he builds systems that make discipline effortless. His living space is decluttered, clean, and functional, with every item having a purpose aligned with his mission. His mornings begin with intentional rituals, physical training that tests and strengthens his body, followed by mental conditioning through reading or journaling to sharpen focus. Nutrition becomes a tool for performance, not indulgence, as he consumes what fuels his mind and body rather than what soothes temporary cravings. Time is tracked with precision, and schedules are crafted to allow for deep work, creative output, and restoration without leakage into mindless consumption. The Sigma in Spartan mode also audits his digital life, clearing notifications, organizing files, and setting boundaries around technology use to avoid the modern traps of dopamine-driven distractions. These habits do not make him rigid but free, as they remove decision fatigue and create a flow that keeps him aligned with his mission effortlessly. Each habit compounds over time, building mental resilience, physical vitality, and financial momentum. When challenges arise, his disciplined foundation allows him to respond with strength rather than reactivity. In warrior mode, the Sigma's Spartan habits transform him into a vessel of unstoppable momentum, allowing him to live a life of quiet power while others remain stuck in cycles of self-sabotage. Point 7. The unseen war. The unseen war is the daily internal battle a Sigma male fights when in full warrior mode, a war invisible to others but essential for his evolution. While the world may see calm eyes and silent movement, inside, the Sigma is waging a war against procrastination, self-doubt, and past limitations that attempt to hold him back. Each day he challenges his weaknesses by deliberately stepping into discomfort, waking up early when comfort tempts him to sleep, training hard when his mind whispers excuses, and taking decisive action when fear suggests hesitation. This internal war is fought in the moments between impulse and action, where the Sigma repeatedly chooses discipline over ease, purpose over distraction, and growth over comfort. He audits his thoughts, challenging beliefs that no longer serve him, and rewires his mindset to align with his mission. He learns to sit with his fears, analyzing them without letting them dictate his path, using them as signposts for where he needs to grow. This war is also spiritual, as he cuts away from emotional patterns and relationships that hinder his evolution, enforcing boundaries that protect his energy and mission. The Sigma understands that the real battle is not against the world, but against his lower self, and each victory within translates into tangible victories externally. This unseen war is what forges his unshakable presence, the silent confidence that others notice without understanding. It is the daily, unglamorous grind that sharpens his mind, strengthens his spirit, and builds the foundation for his future. In warrior mode, the Sigma welcomes this unseen war, knowing that without it there can be no true mastery or legacy. Point 8. Precision energy deployment. In full warrior mode, a Sigma male masters the art of precision energy deployment. He understands that time and energy are finite, non-renewable currencies, and every expenditure must yield returns aligned with his mission. The Sigma does not scatter his focus across endless low-value tasks or meaningless conversations. Instead, he identifies the critical 20% of actions that drive 80% of his results, channeling his energy with sniper-like precision into projects, workouts, and pursuits that compound over time. When he enters a training session, he is fully present, pushing his limits without distraction. When working on his business, he eliminates multitasking, immersing himself in deep work that drives creation rather than reaction. Calls and meetings are only accepted if they serve a clear, mission-aligned purpose. Otherwise, they are declined without guilt. This level of precision is not about being busy, but about being effective, ensuring that every ounce of energy contributes to progress rather than simply motion. The Sigma in warrior mode also understands that rest is strategic, ensuring his recovery fuels his performance, not laziness. Even in his personal life, he applies precision, maintaining relationships that align with his growth and letting go of those that siphon his energy. His actions are deliberate, his words are measured, and his movements are intentional, creating a momentum that feels unstoppable. This precision transforms the Sigma into a force multiplier. He accomplishes in weeks what others take months to complete, simply because his energy is not diluted across distractions. In this mode, the Sigma becomes a master tactician of his life, building momentum while conserving energy, ensuring every action pushes him closer to his vision. Point 9. Sacred boundaries. Sacred boundaries become a non-negotiable reality for the Sigma male when he enters warrior mode. These boundaries are not built from fear of others, but from deep respect for himself, his mission, and his energy. The Sigma understands that protecting his mental and emotional space is vital for maintaining focus, so he sets clear lines that others cannot cross. He learns to say no without explanation, understanding that each yes to others can become a betrayal to himself if it does not align with his mission. Calls that waste time are cut short or declined, social obligations that drain energy are avoided, and conversations that add no value are walked away from with calm finality. These sacred boundaries extend into his physical environment. He structures his living and working spaces to minimize distractions, ensuring his surroundings are supportive of his goals. Emotional boundaries are enforced with equal discipline, as the Sigma does not allow guilt, manipulation, or emotional chaos to breach his fortress of focus. Even in relationships, he makes it clear that his mission comes first, and anyone who truly respects him will respect his path. These boundaries create a protective container that allows him to operate at a high level consistently, free from the drama and distractions that derail others. This is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of deep self-respect and long-term vision. By maintaining sacred boundaries, the Sigma ensures his energy is reserved for what matters most, allowing him to build, grow, and live in alignment with his highest values. It is this unwavering commitment to sacred boundaries that makes the Sigma unshakable, unbothered, and deeply powerful in his warrior mode. Point 10. Legacy thinking. Legacy thinking becomes the North Star for the Sigma male in warrior mode, shifting him from short-term gratification to building something that will outlast him. This mindset transforms how he operates daily, making every action, investment and relationship a part of a larger tapestry designed for impact, not just personal gain. The Sigma understands that living for the weekend, chasing temporary pleasures, or seeking short-term wins is a trap that keeps most men stagnant. Instead, he steps back, viewing his life in decades, asking himself, will this matter in 10 years? This question becomes a filter for decisions, ensuring that his actions align with a long-term mission rather than fleeting desires. Legacy thinking affects how he manages his finances, choosing to invest rather than consume. It shapes his work ethic, pushing him to master his craft to the highest standard, knowing that his creations will carry his name forward. It influences how he builds relationships, valuing depth, loyalty, and alignment over superficial connections. Even in his personal habits, he moves with the awareness that his choices ripple forward, influencing who he will become and what he will leave behind. The Sigma in warrior mode becomes a steward of his own future, living with the understanding that every moment is a brick laid in the foundation of his legacy. This is not about ego or fame. It is about creating something meaningful that contributes to the world while fulfilling his mission. Legacy thinking frees the Sigma from distractions, aligning him with a higher purpose that transcends temporary discomfort, making him relentless, purposeful, and deeply impactful in every phase of his warrior mode journey. Ascenders, when a Sigma male goes full warrior mode, the transformation is quiet yet seismic. It is not for the world to notice, but for the world to feel when he moves. His silence becomes a weapon, his solitude becomes a forge, and his focus becomes an unstoppable current that clears the path to his purpose. He is not here to exist, he is here to leave a legacy that outlasts noise and trends. This is the Sigma Ascends path, the path of sacred discipline, unyielding boundaries, strategic solitude, and precision-driven action that reshapes the destiny of any man who dares to walk it. If you are ready to embrace this path and awaken the warrior within, subscribe now to Sigma Ascends, where we forge men into warriors, kings, and silent architects of their futures. Remember, the world does not need another echo. It needs your unique resonance, your quiet strength, and your unshakable presence. This is your time, Ascenders. Step into it and let the world feel your silent storm.